Hey, welcome. Whether you're trying to launch a startup, organize a local event, or just get a handle on a really complicated task at home, you're actually dealing with projects. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on project management. We'll show you how it's this incredibly powerful way to turn pretty much any idea into a finished reality.
So, let's start with a fun one. What could planning a wedding and putting a man on the moon possibly have in common? I know it sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, but the answer is actually really simple. They're both projects. They each take a totally unique idea and have to figure out a path to get to a very specific, one-of-a-kind result.
I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. A project isn't just some massive to-do list. It's a problem scheduled for solution. See how that flips the script? It shifts your focus from just, checking off boxes to actually achieving a real outcome. You're solving a specific problem.
Okay, so here's the official textbook definition. The two words you really got to remember here are temporary and unique. A project has a definite start and a definite end. It doesn't go on forever. And its whole purpose is to create something new, something that hasn't been done in exactly this way before. That's what really makes it different from our normal day-to-day routines.
And this comparison is so important for understanding what a project isn't. Think about it like this. Building the very first prototype of a brand new car, that's a project. It's temporary, it's unique. But the assembly line that then churns out thousands of that same car day after day, that's a process. It's ongoing and repetitive. So projects create change, while processes keep things running as they are.
All right, so the moment you have a project, you immediately run into this fundamental challenge. It's this constant balancing act between three competing forces that every single project manager, no matter what they're working on, has to wrestle with.
And this triangle illustrates that challenge perfectly. It's called the triple constraint, or sometimes the iron triangle. You've got time, cost, and quality. And here's the unbreakable rule. You cannot change one of these without affecting at least one of the others. You want it done faster? Well, that's probably going to cost you more, or you might have to cut some corners on quality. Want to make it higher quality? You're going to need more time or more money. It's a never-ending negotiation. So the whole game is about deciding what matters most for your specific project. If you're building a nuclear power plant, quality and safety are completely non-negotiable, right? Cost and time just have to work around that. But for a big public event like a festival, the date is locked in. It has to happen on that day. Time is the top priority. And if you're a charity building a new office, your budget is probably super tight, making cost the thing you have to watch most closely.
We've been talking about how to manage a project that's already up and running. But hold on. There's a huge question you have to answer before you even write the first line of a plan. Is this thing even a good investment? Is it worth doing it all? This is where financial appraisal comes in.
And one of the best tools for that is called net present value, or NPV. The big idea here is actually pretty simple. $1 in your pocket today is worth more than $1 you're promised a year from now. Why? Because you could invest today's dollar and have it grow. So what NPV does is it takes all the money a project might make in the future and calculates what all that cash is worth in today's money. If that final number is positive, then yeah, the project is probably a solid investment.
Okay, so the project got the green light. You've planned it out, the team is working hard. But now you're deep in the middle of it. How do you know if you're on the right track? How do you, take the project's pulse?
To check your project's health, you can use these key numbers. Two of the most important are CPI and SPI. Think of them as a quick dashboard. CPI, the Cost Performance Index, basically asks, for every dollar we've spent, how much value have we actually gotten? SPI, the Schedule Performance Index, asks, are we getting things done as fast as we thought we would? For both of them, the magic number is 1. If your CPI is over 1, say 1.2, you're getting $1.20 of work for every dollar you spend. Awesome, you're under budget. If it's under 1, you're in trouble. It's a super quick, powerful way to see if you need to make a change.
But here's the reality check. All of this planning and tracking, it kind of assumes we can create a perfect plan from the very beginning. And we all know the real world doesn't work like that. Things change. Uncertainty isn't the exception, it's the rule.
And this is the critical question for so many modern projects. Think back to that moon mission. The goal was crystal clear: land a man on the moon and bring him home safely. But at the start, they had no idea exactly how they were going to do it. The technology, the methods, a lot of it hadn't been invented yet. You can't write a perfect step-by-step plan for something like that.
And that's where we see this big split in project management philosophies. On one side, you have the traditional or waterfall method. Think of it like building a skyscraper.
You need the complete blueprint before you even dig the foundation, and you really want to avoid changes once you start. Then you have Agile. Agile is built for those man-on-the-moon projects. It doesn't just tolerate change, it expects it. It embraces change as a core part of learning and finding the best solution.
So how do you actually do Agile? Well, one of the most popular ways is a framework called Scrum. The whole idea is to get a small team with all the different skills you need and have them work in these short, super focused bursts of work called sprints. And the goal of every single sprint is to deliver a small, working piece of the final product so you can get feedback right away.
And this is what a sprint looks like in action. It's a tight, repeating loop. You analyze a small piece of the problem, you design a solution for it, you build it, and you test it, all within maybe a couple of weeks. Then, and this is the important part, you show it to the customer, you learn from what they say, and you use that feedback to plan the very next sprint. It's this rapid cycle of build, learn, adapt, repeat. So in the end, it doesn't really matter if you're using a super detailed traditional plan or a flexible agile approach. Project management is about that journey. It's the art and the science of navigating from a problem to a real-world solution. It gives you the framework to take an idea, any idea, big or small, and actually make it happen. So I guess the only question left is, what problem are you going to solve next?